Good morning, gentlemen and ladies in out there. Good day, Chris. How are you? Uh,
Howdy.
you might you might be able to understand our accent here today, although we've got a couple of Americans in as well. So Chris watches all the Pommy lives. I know that. Today I'm going to do doing something that I haven't done for a long time, making scoops. So just for the hell of it. So I'll get on with it.
He's
When
doing
you say
peas with
scoop,
seeds.
Rob, I was going to say,
Put this.
Robbo, when you say scoop, I assume you're talking about basically a goblet cut in half, or
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, the only part I won't be doing is actually cutting out the scoop part. Good morning, Chris. Um, so I'll just prepare these to fit into a chuck at the moment. Put my glasses on. Change cameras.
if you're not going to cut it, what are you going to do for the rest of the after the first 20 seconds?
Yeah, well that's right. We'll tighten the tool rest first. That's always a good idea.
You want to expand yours out?
Sorry.
You want to expand your view out?
Yeah, right out. That's a good idea. Chris, can you see me all right or not? Yeah, right. Okay, good.
How's your shoulder going turning that, Robbo?
As good as gold. there's not much strain on it, so. Remove the tailstock so I don't get jabbed in the end of the fingers with it, elbow. Now these are shark jaws or long jaws or whatever you want to call them. Oh, that was silly. I took that out before I sended it up. Right. Right, just straighten it all out now. Lift the tool rest up a little bit. Yeah, we'll do it about here, I reckon. And this will be our scoop part in here. Smaller tool rest, where'd I put it? Yeah, I just want to do. Right, I'll just change cameras again. Zoom it in a bit if I can.
Going to be hard turning that without blocking the view.
Oh, we'll see how I go.
Yeah.
Just trim off the edge a bit. Go down into the center. Yeah, wait on. I might see if I can just move that camera. Just bear with me a minute.
Yep.
Just put it on one of the other ones for a minute. I had to rearrange.
Rubber?
Sorry?
I said, Chris wants to know what the wood is.
Just pine. That's Chris. That's all, Chris.
Just pine.
Yeah. All right, we'll see how that goes.
Better.
Right, that better?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Now to make that cut, all I use is a slide swept back grind. Hold on, if I can find it. No, too dark down in there. Just a swept back grind on a normal 1/2 inch spindle gouge.
Cool.
But always make sure you keep that round nose on it, because otherwise it's useless for anything else. Camera, right. Bit more to come out of there yet.
Is the spindle gouge better than the bowl gouge in that application?
Sorry?
Is the spindle gouge better than the bowl gouge in that application?
As far as I'm concerned, it is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've always used just a spindle gouge on these.
Quite a bit bouncy there.
You can, if you want to make a final cut on it, a negative rake scraper works well too. Just got a bit of a lump in there. Get that out of there. That'll do nicely. Just give it a quick sand. I'm not going to take these down to a finished product.
Why are you gonna do a production of them?
No, these will probably just get either thrown away or just sit on the shelf gathering dust. We don't do markets or anything like that anymore. So now, because it's a scoop, I try to get this edge here. This edge here. What the hell's? Oh, it's a lead hanging down there. Sorry. I try to chamfer this edge in a little bit. I generally do it with sandpaper when I'm sanding it, just to give it a bit of a lead in into the actual cup part, so that it scoops in things easier. But don't make it a sharp edge, otherwise it breaks if you're going into it. All right, finish off the rest
Hello,
of it now.
Shay.
Ah, hello, Shay. How you going? Long time no see again. Okay, I'll finish off the outside of it now. After I've had a slurp on my cup of tea. Just clean this up a bit now. Get a nice even cut around it. And because that's a knob and being handled in your fingers, don't make the corners sharp. Always knock them off a bit. The grit paper, the paper grit's 240.
240.
Yeah. That's
Now,
all
what
you
if-
need. Sorry.
I was gonna say, what would you go up to if you were making it to sell?
About 240.
240.
Yeah.
You don't go to 6,000 or anything like that.
No.
Oh,
Right. And there it is. One scoop. Just trim the end off. Now, what you do is you get a bandsaw and then you cut through there. But my bandsaw is too far away, so I'm not going to bother doing that. So that's one down. Well, not a slurp on a cup of tea.
Shay says beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Shay.
Why do you make the handle so short, Robbo?
Well, on these ones, where did I put it now? It's normally just held between your fingers like that, so you get in. I do make I used to make bigger ones as well, or up to 6 inches in diameter. And they had a long handle on them because you had to scoop, get the scoop right in there.
Yeah.
So it just depends on their length. I made them down to an inch as well, like little mini one for coffee grinds and things like that.
All right.
Yeah, well, they.
Oh, change cameras again.
Oh, I set up at the car wash today and I and this
In the end of.
so they was died.
Ah. No, Neil, just to answer your question before about using a bowl gouge or the spindle gouge.
Yep.
I just find it because of the shape of the nose on the spindle gouge. I just find it cuts a lot easier than a bowl gouge, which has got a fairly high side.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
I just think it's probably more what you get used to than anything else. Get rid of the little tit down in the bottom here. And of course, we always turn the light off when we move the tool rest.
Because it's end grain turning inside to out.
Yeah, that's right.
So if it was cross grain, you would have went from outside in?
That's it, yep.
Okay.
I very rarely, I just don't make side grain scoops. I always do the end grain.
Well,
Same
I'm
with
just saying in general for the technique of hollowing, like bowls and stuff. That's what I was. Just the technique of hollowing bowls and stuff. You said that you were doing end grain, so inside to out.
Yeah.
And I was asking if you did cross grain, if you go outside in.
Yep.
Chris says it's great watching a pro. You make it look easy. Thanks, Robo.
I might just put a little knob on this one, I think.
Instead of a scoop, that almost looks like a little ice cream bowl.
Sorry?
I said it almost looks like a single scoop ice cream bowl.
Yeah.
Hello, Radar.
G'day, Radar. Try to get this one before it breaks off. That's better. Again, I'd be taking that out to the bandsaw and just cutting it off. As I said, I'm not too fussed about these because they're not going to be used for anything anyway. So, all right.
Yep.
Now, normally when I have little pieces in the end here left in the chuck, I practice just doing various cuts on them if I got the time. Like I'll do an end trim like this. It's just to practice using the tools, that's all. Again, hollow it out if you want to. And then when you finish mucking about, then you can throw it away.
When you've made the biggest mess that you can get, then you go throw it away.
That's it.
But you've practiced along the way.
Yep.
Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time throwing away big pieces or pieces that could be big enough. Like that piece right there still could be big enough to cut something out of on a scroll saw.
Oh, yeah, you can, is Chris in? Oh, yeah, no, it's all right. Sorry, I thought Bailey Wood Turning was in. Oh, let's see. Let's do something entirely different.
Good idea.
What's that?
That's what Chris said. That's why my wife says it too. Yeah.
What, let's try something different.
Is you on there?
Now the other guys he went full screen. But it's Robo doing it, not Jay. He's got something else going on.
He's at a car boot sale today.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of some of his stuff.
Yeah.
I wish him a lot of luck.
Yeah, so do I.
Be great too.
Now with that gouge, you didn't have to turn it where the opening was going in the direction you're working it.
Sorry, what's that?
that gouge that you just used, that roughing gouge, you
Yeah.
didn't have to turn the opening back and forth when you went back and forth down the piece.
No, the roughing gouge will work anywhere. Like uh, you can start off there if you want to. Go along there. Doesn't matter where you turn it, it's going to cut.
All right.
I generally
I know a
use.
lot of times, yeah, a lot of times when Jay's using uh, a bull gouge or any other gouge, you always make sure to remind them to turn the opening or the mouth in the direction that he's working the tool.
Oh yeah, yeah. On all the gouges, that's right. The spindle roughing gouge is a little more forgiving. You can get away with that,
Mm.
like turning it around. That's the advantage. Like you got 3 inches. Well, on this one, you got nearly 3 inches of cutting area. So
Right.
why not use it all? I don't even bother sanding them. Now,
Turns out cool with that grain.
just
Yeah, Chris was saying it was a good idea to tool practice on leftover bit.
yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured since you're working, I decided I'd try to take over your job and keep up on the comments.
Yeah, thank you.
That kind of miss the trade shows because Rod Brown will set up his booth and he'll turn out tops constantly, give them to the kids that go by.
Yeah, it
Believe it
seems
or
to
not,
me. Go ahead.
it's probably uh, 35 years since I've done a top with a skew chisel. I don't use a skew chisel for doing tops. I actually use a bowl gouge. It's just quicker and easier. What I used to do was find generally the kid in the audience that looked like he really needed a bit of a boost with his confidence and stuff. I'd give him a top and tell him to spin it, and I had to make another one before it stopped spinning.
It seems to me when I go to craft shows and there's a wood turner, tops are the wood turner's little quick tricks or quick toys, and scroll sawers. A lot of them are like the 3D deer and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
They're usually quick and easy.
Uh,
Hello, Chris Bailey.
G'day, Chris.
Yeah, and for the bigger saws like the bandsaw, it's always the bandsaw box, or of
Yeah,
course the deer.
Yeah, yeah. That's Alex Snodgrass. Right.
Oh
Now I'll
yeah.
do one in. Now I'll do one in real time.
Bailey says he tried a bandsaw box, tried to make one, and really failed it.
Wow, a minute and a half.
Now I'm
Yeah,
slowing down.
your real time is everybody else's edited fast forward.
Yes. I'm just doodling today.
Did you get a chance to meet Alex when he was down in Australia years ago?
Yes, I had lunch with him actually.
Uh,
Well, lunch at a trade show. I was about 10 minutes standing out the back, but
yeah. Yeah.
we no, we had a good chat because I set up bandsaws exactly the same way as he does.
It's so much better since I learned from him.
Like I love people that try to get their bloody top and bottom wheels coplanar
Ooh.
because it's impossible to do. It's not running right if it does.
Yep.
Right, that could be out a bit. No, should be joke. All right, see you later, Radar. Thanks for coming in.
See you,
And
Radar.
Chris said he just got back from Hartville Hardware today in northeastern Ohio. Bought $150 worth of exotic wood off cuts and scraps, about a shopping cart full. Oh, that should keep you out of mischief for a while.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good haul.
going to say Cookwoods in America were having a special. I love their timbers.
Sorry?
Cookwoods, it's a company in America, are having a special at the moment. So tempting.
You haven't got the money. Leave it alone.
You're right. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Billy says a lot of Purple Heart, the Duke, Zebra Wood, and some he had no idea, but neat stuff.
You just bought it anyway.
Yeah. As long as it cuts and makes a design or an object.
Just a simple little finial.
Wow.
Normally I would have sanded that off, but you can see the finish you can get off the tool straight away anyway. So there's only a few little lines there that needed sanding off.
When you do a production run or something like that, you can almost do them in your sleep. I would assume.
Yeah, just about. What happens after, I only think for the first three, basically to get all the lines, everything set up. And then basically just instinct takes over and I just let the chisels do the work, you know. I don't really think about it much. In fact, I start making mistakes if I think about it. In a lot of cases.
I remember as a little kid, like 11, 12 years old, watching my grandfather turn out. I think he had something like 300 to do, and they were all had to be identical. But he'd made so many of them, he kept saying, "I do them in my sleep." Something to do with part of the decoration or whatever for uh, one of the Masonic temples. They
Oh,
went
yeah.
up in the ceiling somewhere as trim, and he could carry on conversations with me, and I'd be sitting on a stool, a four-legged stool, at his workbench, and he'd be quizzing me on math, and he'd have a history book open that I was studying, and it'd be in front of him on the lathe, and he'd just go along. It's like the hands knew what to do,
Well,
you
that's what
know.
I do. I can talk to people while I'm working. Um, on production stuff anyway.
A lot of it sounds like muscle memory.
It is. That's all it is. And people
Yeah,
say,
he'd
oh,
take a
people would say, oh, how can you just stand at the lathe for 8 to 10 hours a day just making the same thing? I'd say it's quite easy. Every time it comes off and hits the floor, it's $4.
Anyway, Robbo, time for me to disappear. I'll catch you later.
All right, Neil, thanks for coming in.
So easy. Cheers, everybody.
See ya, Neil.
You too.
All right, I'll just set something else up in a second. Like I say, this is just doodling.
To do a series, Doodle with Robo.
Uh,
What have you turned for uh, money lately?
Me,
Anything big, like the
yeah.
lamps?
No, I got veranda posts. I just finished 4 last week. I got another 3 this week to do. So I'm basically slowing down anyway. So because I'm semi-retired. So and I'm getting too bloody old. That's the other problem.
Yeah, no one wants to admit it. My back's giving out on me, and I used to do a lot of heavy work, lifting and that, and so I got this contraption of a back brace that goes up my back besides around the waist.
Yeah.
And I had to wear it all day when I was on my feet in the shop.
Fortunately, my back isn't too bad, but I got torn tendons in my shoulder at the moment.
Mm.
Now that's the tool rest I want to know where to buy, but you can't buy them. You got to make them.
You got to have them made. That's right. I'm just going to have to disappear for a minute because I got the wrong rest anyway. It won't be a second.
So what have you done today?
Well, my wife, she went and set up down at the local car wash to sell some of her earrings and stuff. And I sat around there for a little bit, and then one of the guys that owns the car lot up the street, he wanted to know if I wanted a bush hog. So I was like, sure, why not? So I was bush hogging the ditches and the hills and stuff around the car wash and some of the other buildings in that area. So that's about all I did. And then we went up to Missouri and they had a Cajun seafood buffet up there. So
Hmm.
we just got back from that not too long ago.
All right, can you hear me again?
Yep.
Yep. Chris Dodd
Yeah, that's
says,
yeah, that's actually about the size of a Chris, I tell you. Yeah, instead of working 7, I worked 5.
right. Yep. Last weekend we
Now,
went up to Missouri. Go
sorry,
ahead. No, go ahead. I was just babbling.
when I do legs, I don't. I just use a marking gauge like this for marking them out, and I do all 4 sides that comes in there because they have to be perfectly centres, which makes a bit of a thing about knocking spur drives into the timber and all that sort of thing. Because if you do that, you can't centre them. So I never knock a spur drive in.
Now, what if you're doing like a tapered?
What do you want?
Uh, daggone it.
Why did you?
Yeah, if you were doing like a table leg and it had to be tapered up at the or tapered at the bottom and thick up at the top, but it had to be to where one side was flush with the front, kind of in the inset a little bit on the back. How would you set that up? You know what I'm
I'm,
talking about.
I'm trying to imagine that.
All right, say take your hand right there and say that had to be flush with the front of the table, right
This
up
one,
there by your
yeah,
thumb, and then down there at the bottom, it could inset farther in.
yeah. Wait on,
Uh,
I'll just get this set up and then I'll have a look at it, see what you're on about.
well, like if we were to do it on a table saw and say we had to put a mortise up there in the top, come down about 3 inches or 4 inches, whatever the skirt is around the top of the table, and then
Yeah,
from there you would say you'd only taper one half of it or one or two sides instead of all 4 sides
oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
offset.
What you do is offset it. So you have to virtually in something like that. What I do is I draw it out
Mm.
full size and then work out whether. It's probably easier if I show you. Just hold on. I'll do it.
I mean, I know you're trying to show one way, and I that was the first thing that popped in my head when you said it
Yeah.
had to be
Right.
centered.
Okay. Just hold on a second. I'll have to disconnect myself again and go and get something else. I need a straight edge. back again.
All
Right.
right.
Now, this is what I think you're getting at, Sarge. So you've got your pommel up there. I'll change cameras, won't I? So your pommel's up there.
Right.
This is where your rails of your table come in. Into here, all right?
Okay.
And you want to just taper one side of that. So
Yeah.
what I would do is just get it straight in. Well, you get your centre line down there first.
You're just off camera.
Yeah. So we're going to move it back a bit.
There.
Okay. So you get your centre line down here on the side. Then what you got to do is to work out your tape or what tape you want. You start from your centre up there and you just offset this down here. Start from the centre right on the pommel there and offset there and then mark another line there and then mark your centre across the other centre and that'll take it off the back edge. I'll just do it a little bit on this one just to show you, all right?
All right.
Sure, got clearance everywhere. Slow the light down a little bit. Actually, have a look at the
Chris says your mic's a little
other
bit
mics
strange.
I've done a cabriolet. Is the mic all right now, is it? Or not?
Now it sounds like you're off in the distance.
It's like you're using a camera mic instead of your lapel.
Can you hear me okay or not? Can you hear me?
You can hear. We can hear you.
Right, you should be able to hear me now.
Yeah, there you go.
10 by 10.
Can you hear me or not?
Yes.
Yep.
No, I can't hear anybody. Just wait a second. That's the problem with disconnecting it all the time.
Yeah.
Camera, audio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Sure
we can hear you.
No, right. I can't hear you. Just hold on a second.
All right.
Don't know what's going on.
Is your headset matching up on your screen?
Right, say something, please.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
We're still here.
We can hear you. How about now? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear
Yes.
you.
I can see your lips moving, but I can't hear you.
So, Dr. Bob, we can talk all the smack we want to.
Damn. Just hold on.
Yeah, it's all in StreamYard, which because all of them will, every input and output shows up in StreamYard, and
Just hold on. I'm going to have to go out and come in again, all right? So,
All right. Yeah. So I know sometimes when I come in, uh, my headset won't match up, and I'll go through my computer versus my headset.
yep.
All about a pain in the butt some days.
I don't think it's StreamYard, but it's hard to tell.
Right.
But you got all the options that always show up.
Yeah.
And without a PC, I can only use StreamYard, through a tablet.
Right. Can you hear us now?
damn it. Don't know what's
I
going
guess
on.
not.
All
I
right.
guess not.
Sorry, I'll just have to keep going.
All right.
But you
Yeah.
can
Just
see
go
what
on
I
with
mean,
what you got.
how you can take this off the back. Sarge, all right? If you have a look on my lives, the last live I did was about 6 months ago, and it's turning a cabriole leg. And that'll give you a better idea of how it's actually done, where it's all marked out and all that sort of thing. Right. Set this back up again now. Oh, this is terrible, not being able to hear what's going on.
Yeah.
We can talk about C's and P's, and he will never know.
Just bear with me. I'll close this down and I'll reopen it again, all right?
You figured out what you want or what the kids are getting you yet for Father's Day?
Yeah, they've actually already gotten me Father's Day gifts. My oldest daughter, she got me a shirt that says, oh, it's in the laundry, so I can't even remember what it says. Something about being a best dad. And then Brooklyn, she got me a watch and a carabiner that's got a little flashlight and a knife blade and saw and all that I can carry around my keys, like for my truck and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ida, she made me this saw plaque. It's the shape of a handsaw, and she actually cut it out with a scroll saw blade for the jigsaw. And she cut out the teeth on the bottom, and then she cut out the handle and all that. And then she put the three kids' pictures on
No,
there.
I'm afraid it looks like it doesn't want to play ball, so I'll just do this and
Yeah,
we'll call it a day, okay?
if you can
Just nod your
see
head.
us, just make a big picture. Big picture. Yeah.
Put it in the chat. He follows it occasionally.
Yeah. For some reason, I couldn't find his
Okay, now
live
to
on
make
the.
sure that something's square in the
Yeah.
lathe, so you're going to hit all four corners, you've got to, right on,
There we go.
what you do is get your skew chisel, you sit it down so that just the point hits the corners as you rotate it. So, and you put a little nick in the corners, you'll see it in a second when it comes around. So that's exactly centered. See, we've got 4 little nicks in each corner. I'll just start the lathe up and show you. See the little nicks in here? That means that it's all, the square piece is exactly centered. Nothing looks worse than if you come in off the pommel and it's not square. So this is a chair leg, a coffee table leg or a chair leg, and I'll just work at my normal pace down through it, all right?
Yep, that'll work.
Get it down the round first. Now, a pommel is marked there with that black line. So I always stay about 1/4 inch to the waist side of it so that I don't get it. Now, as I've said before, we don't use a parting tool to mark out our lines. We just mark them in. Got to find a chair leg. No, I won't worry. I'll just make one. Now, you use the long point to come in off the pommel, but you creep up on it. You don't come straight in on it, or you're likely to mark it. Recut in there for a vase. Base of the vase about here. Cove in here. Top of the leg with a sweep. An onion base, right. Give it some more weight. Form our little quirks. Put a little quirk in here to define the edge there. Half bead in here. round over the top of this. Put in our other fillet down in here. Move that over, clean it up in there. Get our gouge. Start forming our vase in here. We'll round that over with a skew in a minute. Put our cove in here. Another little cove down in here. Just to bring the leg into. Now a lot of people have trouble doing these sorts of feet. I'm spinning at about probably 1500, 1800, I don't know. Just turning speed, that's the way I class it as. Now, when people are trying to make a leg that goes over and then down into a foot, they try doing it in one hit. This is the easiest way of doing it. Take the waist out down here. Put a little chamfer on the thing so that it doesn't tear the grain out. And then all you do is just round this top over. I normally do that with a skew chisel, which I'll do in a second. All right, we'll do our vase. The vase finished. Now the shape on the leg. Now this is where a bit of design comes in. If you just take the leg straight down like this, it kind of looks big and bulky. However, if you put a little bit of a curve in it, and flatten it out down in there, it looks a lot more graceful. Now this one here, as I said, you just round this top over. That's basically it. Done.
Wow. In total time.
Now that'll be sanded off at 180 for commercial use.
Yeah. Took 7.5 minutes for a $60 leg.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
good afternoon too, Michael. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Michael. I had seen you, but you can still hear us. He just can't.
I'm just debating whether I will or not. It's all right, I'm muttering to myself. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to the audio, Sarge, but it's annoying me that I can't hear what's going on. Yeah, I will do it just for the hell of it. Just hold on, I've got to turn this heater down. It's getting a bit hot.
Wonder if he's got his headset turned down.
Maybe.
Okay, can you hear me again?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I know what's wrong with the sound. Just bear with me for a minute.
Yeah. Michael says, I need a roughing gouge like yours, Robo.
Oh, I got one and I love it. I pre-ground it the way he showed me, and it works so much better.
Where'd you end up getting yours?
Uh, Bill Brown.
Hmm.
They're in his cat. They're online on his site. Pastor Brown.
Astor Brown?
No, it's a. I won't say an inside joke, but
Oh.
he's a minister, so he's a pastor too.
Oh, pastor. Oh, got it.
Pastor.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ron Brown, not Bill. Ron. Ron Brown has a Ronald or Ron Brown. I usually catch him at the woodworking shows because he does
Right.
all of them.
What'd you have to do, Robo? Put your batteries in your hearing aids?
No, I had to go into the. So I run off a monitor out in the workshop,
Right.
and I had to go back into the master computer in the office and adjust the sound levels up at the main controls.
Mm.
So, right.
All right, now we got to quit talking about Robo.
Yeah, that's right. I can hear you now.
No more C's and P's.
Michael, that roughing gouge is a standard English roughing gouge. You can buy them pretty well anywhere. Most wood turning thingos. Whereabouts are you? I think you're up in Queensland somewhere, aren't you?
So what were you muddling around thinking that you were going to do next?
Well, Steve at SK Crafts the other night did a truncheon, and I was thinking I might just make one. Oh, Cranbourne North up near me, jeez. Well, Michael, if you want to come down, I've got one that's just about had it now, as far as I'm concerned anyway, and you're quite welcome to take it. Cranbourne North's only 10 miles away from my place.
Wow.
All right, yes, I will. I'll make a truncheon just for the hell of it. It's only going to be out of pine, so it won't be anything special. So.
Right. Yeah, some people say pine, especially southern pine for around here, is like poor man's wood because it's so
Yep.
soft and so easy to manipulate.
Quick
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah,
No, well, it, as far as I'm concerned, it's got leaves. It uses photosynthesis to grow. It's called timber, so it must
right.
be timber.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's non-allergenic as far as I know. And I've made a fortune out of it, so I don't care.
Oh yeah. Now you can do a lot with pine. You know, it just all depends on what kind of detail you're putting in. Like I've made 3 graduation plaques, 2 females and 1 male, and they're in their robes with their uh, caps and gowns, all that stuff. And the only problem I'm having is the veining on the females. I guess with the extra cuts around the neck for their hair, that one veining line that makes for the opening of the robe, it
Yeah,
actually makes it doesn't seem to matter which way I've got the grain, whether it goes across the body or up and down the body. It always seems to be real loose right there. Matter of fact, the first female one I made, I broke the arm off,
uh,
and so this last one I made, I cut it, and then when I got ready to sand it, I put it back in the block that I had cut it out of, and took some super glue and shoved down in that crack, and then squeezed it together, sanded off the outside, so it
yeah,
still showed the vein, but it didn't separate so easily.
yeah. That's a bummer. All right.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be in a fight with someone that had that.
I actually used to make. We live in a fishing, basically a fishing village is what it used to be, and used to be a lot of professional fishermen went out from there. And I don't know how many priests I've made, I tell you, but I generally made them out of merbau, which is a lot heavier timber, of course. Right, I might as well sand that up properly, I suppose. If I
I
can
was going
find
to
some
say,
sand.
it looks like a tire beater at least. A
Yeah,
decorative
well,
one.
I must admit I used to drive semis at one time, and that's what I used to use it for.
That's exactly what it looks like. A whole lot nicer than using a
A
claw
hammer.
hammer or, yeah, especially with the bounce back. I still do that with my bucket truck.
Yeah. I must admit, with the forklift around there, I don't have to worry about it. It's got solid tyres on it, so it makes it a lot easier.
Right.
In your headstock, is that drive center spring loaded center pin?
Yeah, it's a step centre.
Yeah.
It's about all I use these days. Just
Yep.
pushes in and out.
I like that. I've got two. And I've also got a rotating one for the tailstock too.
Yeah, I had Michael to answer your question. Yeah, next Saturday should be fine. No worries. I actually had a step centre, Stebb's tail talk centre, but I bent it.
Hmm.
So I went back to these. I've been using these for over 40 years. So yeah, they tend to muck around a lot, Chris. So what was I going to say? Yeah, so consequently, I use these. These are an Australian one, a wood fast one. Got 3 bearings in there, or 2 bearings at least. And I can honestly say I've never worn one out.
Yeah, I've got a wood fast one too.
But I very rarely use cone centres like the straight 60-degree cones. Always like ring centres. All right. Well, I might call it a day, I think. Thank you for coming in. I hope Jay's going well at his car boot sale. I dare say we'll find out later on today. And take it easy. Keep it safe.
Yep,
All right,
it's
Robo.
been a pleasure. Thanks.
Yep. Very entertaining and educational.
Just doodling, that's all.
Hey, one person's doodles, another person's education.
Yeah. I was going to show off and use my little skew chisel. That's my
You
2-inch
made
one.
that one?
No, it's a Robert Sorby one. Sorby used to make them. They don't make them anymore because most people don't use skew chisels anymore. They're too interested in doing bloody bowls. But just to give you an idea of the difference in the size, that's my normal inch one. This one's a 2-inch one.
Yeah, the big one's the manual, and the little one's an automatic.
Yeah. No,
I think the biggest I have is an inch and a
cars.
I must admit, I like sticking it up for some people sometimes, but there's
they get
everybody.
The point?
Yes, I do generally, but everybody seems to think you've got to have miniature tools for doing miniature work, and it's not true. Unfortunately, it's all in how you use the tool.
More technique than tool.
Yep.
Unless you got a CNC lathe or anything else, it's all about the technique versus the right tool for the right application.
Exactly. That's it. And practice. Heaps of practice.
Yep.
So, all right. I'll shall bid you all fond farewell, and I'll catch you the next time around.
All right.
See you later.
Take
Bye.
it easy.
Same to you. Ah, hello, John. Wait on.
It looks like.
Yeah, you just came in right at the end.
Yeah, are you keeping well?
Do you want the sugary answer or the real answer?
The real answer's fine.
I'm not going too well, actually.
Oh,
I've been having a series of tests done in the hospital,
have you?
and first they thought it was my heart because I'm getting breathless, but it wasn't. I haven't got any problems with that. I've probably got emphysema, but I'm going in for checks next week. And it wouldn't surprise me if I did have emphysema. I have to admit I'm a heavy smoker. I know it's my own fault. So I'm trying to give them up at the moment. So I'll just end this live.
Well, good luck to you.